What's up, everybody? My name is Justin and I love to watch movies. If you guys love to watch movies too, you guys are in the right spot. Consider hitting that subscribe button down below. Today we're going to be talking about Avengers Endgame. I can't believe that this movie is here. A year after Infinity War, we get this epic conclusion to this Marvel franchise that they've been building up for so long, 10 years. And I'm so happy that it only took a year for it to come out, where I was thinking a movie like this felt like it should have come out 2 years, maybe 3 years after Infinity War, but we got it a year after Infinity War. And so props to everybody involved for making this film and pushing it out a year later. Truly epic. After Thanos' snap and the devastating loss of a lot of people, 50% of the population, the remaining Avengers are trying to figure out how can they bring back everybody that was snapped and, left the world. How can we bring them back? They're all working together on how they can fix Thanos' snap. I had so much hype for this movie. I literally watched Infinity War in the month of April alone 7 times. I watched this film so much for anticipation of Endgame, and so my expectations were just way out there, and this exceeded my expectations. This is one of the best comic book movies I have ever seen, and it took everything I loved about all the different kind of Marvel films and brought it into one movie. This is a culmination of just different storylines and different characters all in one movie, just for fans just to geek out over. Now, my review is not going to contain spoilers. I will have a spoiler review this weekend though for Endgame, but for right now I'm not going to hint at any spoilers. I'm not going to try to ruin anything, because the trailers really don't tell you a lot about the movie. From the trailers you get to see that epic walk with them in the white suits and a couple action scenes here and there, but as a whole it really doesn't show you a lot about the movie. And I didn't know anything about the movie going into it. I didn't know any spoilers. I didn't read anything for people that did spoil it. And so going into the movie, there were so many things I was surprised about. There were so many different character choices, so many different storylines that, played out differently than I thought they would. So happy I didn't see those spoilers, because it made the movie more epic. So, my review for Endgame. No spoilers. So let's talk about Endgame and what I absolutely loved about it. I love the different stories playing into this movie. We have the people that are left: Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, Nebula, Thor, Captain Marvel, War Machine, Rocket, and if I'm missing anybody, Ant-Man. We have all their storylines in here playing out throughout the Endgame movie, and they're all trying to work as a team to figure out different ways that we can get the people that were dusted back to reality. And so you have all these different storylines that they've built up for the past 10 years. And I think that the writers and the directors and everybody involved handled each character very well. They gave each character something to do that was very important to the storyline and had a moment or two for them to shine in. So I really like how they handled the storyline, because this is a bit of a gamble, taking all these different characters and putting them into one movie. And Infinity War did it really well, where they, each character got its own screen time, and Endgame is just as important as it was in Infinity War. So I really did appreciate the storylines for the characters and how they played out throughout the movie. The action is perfect. The action scenes are terrific. They still feel very urgent, like Infinity War did. They still feel like it needs to happen, and it's just an epic movie. And I wish I could sit here and tell you guys everything that happens in this movie, but it is some of the best chilling moments I've ever seen in a movie. I feel like I've never seen a movie like this that just brings everything together and just ends it perfectly. I don't think I've ever seen a movie like this with just this amount of build-up going into it. I mean, Force Awakens maybe, but this movie handled the action scenes so well. There are people standing up and cheering and clapping moments. They're just exhilarating, they're intense, they're just filmed very well too. And the action scenes that you thought were epic in Infinity War, they're just even better in Endgame. I was honestly surprised with some of the character choices that they had I was not expecting certain things to pan out like they did, and it was a risk that played out very nicely for some of these characters. So some of the characters are a little bit different from when they were in Infinity War, and I thought it was really great. This movie has surprisingly a lot of emotion in it as well. I was choking up within the first 5 minutes of this movie, and I was like, oh my god, what is happening? Already in the first 5 minutes, I wanted to cry because of what I was seeing, and they don't let up with those emotions. Throughout the movie, there's still many more emotions that just really latch onto you and just make you feel something for these characters that you've seen for 10 years. So Endgame did a great job of building up those emotions and paying tribute to a lot of the characters. I did think that the beginning felt a little bit rushed. I felt like it was just really quickly paced, and I was thinking, how is this movie going to be 3 hours long? And then it was 3 hours long, and I was okay with that. I mean, it's perfectly paced after the beginning initial sequences. I felt like we're a little bit rushed, but after that, once you got understanding of what their plan was, it all kind of slowed down and came into play. Like I said, it started off really quick, but it kind of slowed its pacing down, and then it just didn't feel like 3 hours. I felt like I was just watching a movie, and I didn't get fidgety. I didn't even need to use the restroom. I was just there, just involved with the movie and just loving it. The fun part about seeing a movie like Endgame is that going into it, you can have these expectations, you can have these theories about what's going to happen to Captain America, Iron Man, who's going to die, top people ranked, who's going to die. You can have all these little different theories about who's going to die and who's going to survive, what's going to happen. And I had certain theories about what was going to happen in this movie, and none of them played out like I thought it was going to be. My expectations and thoughts about this movie were completely shot during this movie because I had certain mindset going into it. I was like, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and then this is going to happen. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen like this. And then it didn't. It played out completely different. So it's also a very surprising film because I wasn't expecting certain sequences to play out like they did, certain character arcs to play out like they did, and it worked out. A lot of things that are a gamble in this movie played out very nicely in this movie. So I was not expecting certain sequences, certain character arcs, certain character personalities. They just kind of came out of left field and surprised me. And so Endgame is a movie that needs to be seen. I saw it on IMAX, and I'm really happy that I saw it in IMAX. It's a movie that I've been anticipating for a year now, and after the huge tease of Thanos just sitting there at the end of Infinity War, you were left with thinking, what's going to happen next? And we got it, and we're finally here. I'm so happy to see this movie. I can't believe that I saw a movie like this in my lifetime. It's crazy that a movie that's built up for 10 years is finally here, and this is what they've been working for, and it definitely paid off. There was no rushed moments. There was no characters that felt like they didn't get enough screen time, or characters like, oh, that wasn't a good tribute. They were respectful to each one of these characters and made just an epic, awe-inspiring, just out there crazy good film that I'm just so happy with. Endgame, I can't wait to see it again. I'm going to see it this weekend with my wife, and hopefully she can join me on the spoiler review. But Endgame, it needs to be seen by everybody. It's going to break records. There's just so many people in the movie theater that were just standing up and clapping and cheering. It was just overall a really good time. I'm going to go ahead and give Avengers Endgame an A+. Stay tuned this weekend. I'll be ranking the Marvel films as well as giving a spoiler review as well. And maybe a couple other Marvel videos. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm just in the mood to talk about Endgame, and I can't wait to sit and spoil it for everybody. Those spoiler talks are a lot of fun, and so I'm hoping that I can have a good discussion with my wife about Endgame. So stay tuned this weekend for that, and look forward to those videos. Thank you guys for checking out this review for Marvel's Avengers Endgame. See it. It will not disappoint, and it's a touching tribute to all of the characters. You can check out other videos right over here that I just uploaded. Stay tuned for those videos this weekend. My name is JustinWatchesMovies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.